Hey everyone, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to be here today. So before we start, my name is Dolph Raykop, and I'm the ASL program coordinator. I'm a full-time instructor here, and I want to say thanks to the Arts and Lecture Committee. They're responsible for setting up the schedules for the Monday Arts and Lecture series. So they have different guest speakers that come in, and I want to thank them. Is anybody here from them? Robert, are you here? There's Robert. Thank you. Thanks to both of these people over here. Thank you so much. This gentleman's name is Ian Sanborn. His sign name is like this. That's Ian. He is deaf. He's a well-known storyteller. He's involved in ASL poetry, as well as makes a lot of videos that he develops for children, for deaf and hearing children, for developing positive sign language skills. He's also a graduate from National Theater of the Deaf. And he also ran Deaf West Theater in Los Angeles. He did a show, Beware of the Brindlebeast? Beware of the Brindlebeast. So anyway, I want to welcome Ian and thank you. Ian's here. Let's give him a round of applause. Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming and for watching the show. I'm really happy to kind of teach you some of the things that I know about ASL. ASL is American Sign Language. So let me just explain briefly about my background. I was born into a hearing family. My parents, my sisters knew a tiny bit of sign language, except for my mom. My mother could sign fluently, but she signed exact English, signing exact English. How many of you know signing exact English? How many of you don't know signing exact English? All right. Signing exact English, the abbreviation is SEE. It's signed, every word has a sign. And that includes the articles as well, the thes, the is, and. All of those are included in each sign. In American Sign Language, it's not there. The articles aren't included in the signs. It's all included in the timing. It's different than the language that's based on the English word structure. For example, the frog jumped into the well. The frog jumped into the well. In ASL, you sign the frog, and you put the well, and the frog jumps into the well. Can you see the difference there? So in signing exact English, it was very signy, word-for-word translation. And if you're wondering how that works, does anybody know how that works? Let me explain for a moment. When you're signing exact English, you're looking at each word. There's a sign for each word. You're seeing that object. You're seeing the object of that word. In American Sign Language, you're using classifiers, which is hand shapes, and they look kind of like this for one. And then the well is going to be a round circle on this side. And so I've set up the well in a location here, and then the frog is from this side. I've set them up in their spaces, and now the frog leaps into the well. And it happens like that. That's the difference in ASL and signing exact English. Now, I grew up in a hearing family where everybody was signing English to me all the time until I got into the 4th grade. And then I went to a deaf school in Vermont. It's the Austin School for the Deaf. That is closed now, unfortunately. However, it was the first school that exposed me to American Sign Language, and I was just gobsmacked. I could see the sign, everything was so clear, and I could visualize it. My natural skills as an artist inside me were developing.
And I had total access.
And I had total access to this other language in American Sign Language, and things were alive and vivid. So I continued at that school for 2 years. A lot of socialization with people who were grassroots ASL users. And now I've expanded from that. When I go into the deaf schools, there's different groups. And they all have their own style of signing ASL. Some of them signing exact English. Some are more oral. When I go in and I meet somebody for the first time, they start signing and maybe in an English word order, or it's a mixture of American Sign Language and the English word order. You know, I kind of find a way to get to the language that they're using. There's a whole range. And ASL.
There can be more pure ASL.
There can be more pure ASL. Hang on just one second. Could you back up 1 second? So there's a whole range of people that are using ASL. There could be students or friends. So there's some that are using a strong English manner and some that are signing in a stronger ASL manner. And there's that whole continuum between those two fields. When I went into the school at first, I was like, oh, I could see the signing exact English. And then I could see the ASL, the mixed with English. And those people were more creative. They were sign language. It wasn't really ASL. It was like a slang, if you will. It was more slang. And I'm like, wow, what's that slang all about? Like, for example, so if you say the cat's got my tongue, it's like this. This is the ASL sign. Just like that. In English, you say, does the cat got your tongue? But in ASL, you can see like that. That was very clear. The cat went out and got my tongue. So that kind of worked, as long as I understand the topic, if you will. But if I didn't know what the topic was, I'd be like, what's this thing and what's it doing to your tongue? You know what I mean? That's never happened to me. Has it happened to you? It must be a really big cat, maybe. Hopefully it was just a little kitten that got a hold of your tongue. So by knowing the topic, you can see, oh, I got tongue twisted, or I got, the words got stuck in my throat, that kind of thing. You're understanding the concept. So in ASL, you can clearly understand that concept. And so I was really interested in that and wanted to learn more and more about it. Another example would be gulped, the word gulped. ASL would maybe sign something like this. Like,
it's a little bit like being dumbfounded.
It's kind of like being dumbfounded, or just a loss for words. And so it's like you're feeling that big gulp that's happening in your throat, like a gulp like that. See that? This sign is more like, wow, when you gulped, your heart took a step too, man. You were really just, wow, changed by whatever just happened. This is another sign like this. Like, oops, the police pulled me over. Oh, crap. Like this.
I got a ticket.
I got a ticket.
Or when you land, say if in a plane, I went on a 4-day trip and I arrived in Europe, and I found out that I had nothing on me. no wallet, no phone, no suitcase. And then this was my reaction. Like, oh my God, what do I do? That's that huge feeling of beyond gulp, but just being dumbfounded. What can I do? So among all these different groups, people who signed exact English, people who did a mix of ASL and English, and then the group who were strong ASL users who might give me a look like this, like, what are you signing English to me for? Aren't you fluent? I'm proud to be deaf. This is a deaf school. And I was so nervous with everybody. I said, well, I'm from a hearing family, and I'm sorry, this is new to me. And I was wondering how I can be the same. How can I have this identity? My identity was different. And how can I develop this identity? People from deaf families, people who'd been using ASL, people whose parents signed fluently, grandparents signed fluently, were in this group. They had aunts and uncles. Everybody were fluent signers. And that was the group that I felt, with my background, I was very different. And I learned how to mouth English. I worked on that all through fourth grade, up until fourth grade, and then, well, sixth grade, when I went into the school for the deaf. I met this strong deaf group there, and they did invite me to go to their houses for the weekends. And my mind was blown. I mean, just imagine 24 hours, 7 days a week being in that environment where everybody's signing fluently all the time and I would have total communication access. And I was just so amazed. And this group of strong fluent deaf signers, I realized caught something different between that group and the C-signing group. Why do you think it was so different? The difference is confident signers, people who have confidence in their hands and their bodies. They're rooted in their language and ASL linguistics. They have ASL in them. They can sign big, they can sign confidently, or instead of being tentative and not being as strong in the language and feeling intimidated by it. So some of you are very confident in English. I'm sure you have your favorite singers, right? You would have your favorite musicians and you would just love their music. You don't have a favorite singer? Well, that's you're deaf, okay. So you'd be good and proud as a deaf person, yes. So then among hearing people, there's like, oh, I just love that singer's voice. I'm just intrigued by their voice, the way they sing so fluently and their voice just comes bursting out that's not garbled up. They just are in love with that person. They might buy every CD, every album the person puts out. So just laying out the money. So then, or you might be, in love with an ASL storyteller or just the beautiful movement of their ASL, and you want them to sign more fluently, and you could be fascinated by that person. And that would be equal to a hearing person's fascination with the musician. So I had friends from deaf families in this group who were confident signers, and I tried to pick up ASL from them and learn ASL storytelling and poetry from them. And I was young enough that I could just take this in. I was so enthralled, and my interest in connecting really came through through nature, because I grew up in the country in New Hampshire. I saw animals, I saw the trees, I saw movement in nature, the cycles of the seasons, and how everything would repeat from year to year. And I had 4 seasons there in New Hampshire. Spring, everything starts to bloom, and flowers come out, and the rains and the breezes, and it's warm and just beautiful. And then that moves into summer. And summer can be pollens everywhere. The air can be just yellow with pollen. You'd see pollen all over the ponds, and it's humid and moist, but it's still beautiful. And there are lightning storms and thunderstorms. And that moves into fall, which gets chilly and windy. The wind can be hard to deal with, but then the trees and the colors and the movement from the wind and the maple trees with the leaves changing color, it's really sugar maples especially that have the variation in color. Other trees might change to yellow or brown, but the range of maples is just the shades from orange to bright red to magenta to all these different colors, and the smells in the woods are incredible. Anyway, that season then moves into winter, and winter is harsh in New Hampshire. It is harsh because there are terrible winds, and they travel in all different directions, and so the winds can conflict with each other, and it can be totally blow you from all directions. And then, this is the whole winter. You feel like blasted by the wind until finally spring comes and you think, thank God, spring is here. So anyway, I grew up in nature and seeing that, and that had a huge effect on me, and so did American Sign Language. And these converged in me to develop this. I'll give you one short example of an ASL poem about nature. And it's called Leaves, or The Leaf. So now I want to back up a bit and ask what you saw. Just call stuff out. Let me know what you saw in the poem. What did you recognize of what I signed? Yes. Could you say that again? The bird flying. Guess what that shape is? What do you think that was?
You can speak.
A bird flying, okay. A soaring bird. Yeah, it was a bird soaring. You saw that. Okay. In the beginning, you'd see the bird flying, soaring over the clouds. Yes, good guess. And what else? The transition of life, like transitions in life. Meaning starting out with a seed coming in the ground, and then with the rain starting to develop, and the rain comes and it grows even further, and it becomes a tree, and then next it's summer and it's hot, and it's humid, everybody needs to drink more water, and then finally the clouds come and the rain comes, so there's the drink, and everyone's happy. And then in the fall, then starting to brag about the color, like, well, look at me, look how beautiful I am. I'm orange with green and red, and see me. And now it's starting to be winter, and it's cold. And this is just one leaf on the tree. It's lonely. There's nobody to cuddle with. Nobody did it. It's just chilly. It's really cold until it's frozen. And the leaf falls down to the ground. And then it looks up at the tree, says its goodbye to the tree. And what you see then is, I showed two different ways of expressing every object in the story. Or the poem. Like, for example, you saw the tree. This is the sign for tree. Go ahead, everybody do this sign. This is a sign for tree, which just means tree. A growing tree is what? Growing. That's the sign for grow, yes. But now, when you have a growing tree, what does it look like? Like that. The growth comes into becoming a tree. You see the trunk emerge, and you see the head of the tree, the leaves. And it needs a haircut, maybe. Hello, tree. Who are you? How are you? That's the tree. And then I'll focus on the leaf. This is the sign for leaf. Then I act like the leaf. You can see it in my body. I'm happy, I'm just dangling there. The winds come one day, and I'm shaking around like that in the breezes. And you see it in my face. As I'm flailing around in the breeze, just like you would if you were walking outside and you pass a building and it's all of a sudden really windy, you have to block yourself from the wind. And oh, my hair, oh no, I'm gonna look terrible for my date. So you react. And it's just like you have to react with your signs as well. And you make the object react through your body, and you react to the environment, and you use your body language, you use your facial expressions to show that. Now, this is the sign leaf, but then the tree growing, and then the leaf shaking around in the wind, and the bird flying. They're all different parts, all different hand shapes in the story. And then you can see the actual silhouette of the bird flying by with the hands like this. And it's really called visual vernacular. It's the name for that. Visual vernacular is, I'll just describe it to you. When you look up close to the bird, you see a bird. You're just in front of the, it's in front of your nose, and the bird becomes big because it's right there. But then you become the bird, like this. Stretch your legs, stretch your wings. Now you see a bird a mile away. What does it look like from a mile away? You don't see that's when you see the silhouette in the sky, like that. And it's even further away, 3 miles away, you see it like that. So you see the bird disappearing into space, getting smaller and smaller. And the hand shape gets smaller and smaller and further away. Now, visual vernacular is the term for that, but I'll show you the key to it. It's body language, facial expression, and classifiers, which are hand shapes, that are all included. Without those, what the other important thing is rhythm. I want you to copy me, okay? It's to the beat of 4. Okay, you ready? Now in 4 times. Now, if the mark is right here, that's the marker of the time, meaning you start with 1, do it big with your whole body. Breathe into it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I remembered seeing violin and drum class and seeing this teacher orchestrating everybody, using the wand and going like this. 3, 4. So everybody copy me doing this way. So when I see an orchestra, I see a conductor, it's just pulls people out into their energy and their excitement, and everything is there in the music, and the conductor just brings that out, and is embodying the music, and you see that in ASL as well. The way someone signs, it's their full body, it's in their blood, it's through their arms and through their bodies, through their face. They're fully embodied and believable because of the way they're signing. So now it's time for an activity. First of all, I want to see, well, how many of you know different parts of a rooster's body? There's the comb, right? Do you like, okay, you like roosters. You like the comb? Okay. What's the top part called? What do you call that? The crown. You call it a crown. And all roosters, there are different kinds, different shapes, different configurations of the crown. It could be like this. Now, what about, okay, hold on. That's just one body part. It's an example of a crown. But then there's different looking ones too. I'll give you another example. It looks like that, like a double one going backwards on the head. So they're all different varieties. There's this kind, but be careful you don't mix it up with Trump. You don't want to make it look like Trump. That's a different sign for Trump. But there are roosters that have that, that shape of the crown. Now the wattle. What's the wattle? Right, like that. Now roosters have a breast, like this. But be careful because it can be confusing and it can look funny, so just be careful. You know, ASL students tend to think, oh, that sign, you have to be careful. It could look like a swear word. I'd be so embarrassed. But with the breast, the rooster's breast, it's a description of how their feathers, do they go up or down? They go down. So you would sign it like this. It's not like breasts like this. That's obviously, does not look like a rooster's breast. It looks like this beautiful shape with the feathers going down. Now what about the wings? Okay, everyone do this? Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I'm going to show how the rooster behaves. How does it move? So don't worry about the body parts right now and the signs for those. I'm just going to become the essence of the rooster with my behaviors. So I'm going to try to act exactly like a rooster, but it's not. That is how a rooster acts. It looks silly, though. It looks funny. But now, with the spirit of the rooster, can you see the rooster in me? Do you see how I did it two different ways with acting like it, but then becoming it? So with the rooster out of the house, the rooster out of the house is walking around on the farm and meets a cow. And then finds a worm that it pecks at, swallows the worm, and then looks at the sunrise and starts to sing, cock-a-doodle-doo, and wakes up the grumpy farmer. So that's basically the English of it. Now let me go back and show you ASL, but I'll be acting as the rooster, exactly as the rooster. There you go. So that's acting just like the rooster, but now with the spirit of the rooster, becoming the rooster in spirit. So now I want to incorporate signs and becoming the rooster. Okay, now I want some audience participation. I need 4 volunteers to come up. Yes, come on up. Somebody else? Anyone else wants to volunteer? Come on. I'm leaving soon too. I have to leave soon, so. I told you to get their attention. Okay, 2 people. Who else? If you see a brave person standing up, give them some applause. Yay. Okay, great. Oh, more. Okay. 4 is good. Okay. Now, can you all see? Are the lights good? Maybe they're nervous, but let's give them a little warm-up. Give them a little applause to warm them up. Okay. Yay. Yay. Great, thanks. Okay. Now we'll start like this. And you know how roosters move their heads like this, right? You don't drop your hands, just keep your hands up. Every time I clap, pick a pose. Okay, now we're going to go fast. Okay, now put your hands down. The key to this is having clear order, not mixing up all the different movements, but just doing it in order. It looks like you're like hitting on yourself. So just start out like this first. Second, show the breast. Third, show the wings. Fourth, walk forward. So that'll give you the concept. So first, what do you do first? Second? Third? Fourth? It's interesting how he did the wings and how she did the wings. And his were like this. And yours were like this. It's interesting. So they're developing their own characters. It's interesting to see that they're just incorporating it into their own animal character, just from what they have inside them. And you all have to follow what's inside you. So he looks ready to fly. She looks like a vampire rooster. No, I was going to get you. And he looks like this. Maybe it's Rooster. And he looks expansive, like, take me home, take me away. So they each had their different characters. Now, with this rhythm, that's 1. 2, be the breast. 3, be the wings. And 4th, start walking. And then pose for each one. Great. All right, let's try again. We'll do it one more time. Let me kneel here so you can see me. Okay, one more time. Okay, great. Now, I want to see sad. Well, actually, first, let's show an excited rooster. And the pose of an excited rooster might be like that. Show that excitement. So this is a very happy rooster. Okay, but do it slowly first. Great. Now I want to see an angry rooster. Okay? Okay, you ready? One more emotion. What else should we do? Sad? Okay, how about a sad rooster? Let's see your sad. Oh, okay. They all picked where the crown drops. How beautiful. That's just great. It's just like a dog's tail dropping down. Or their ears fall back. It's just like that. You have that inside you. So, okay, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, whoops, I did it wrong. Wait, this is sad, right? Yes. Great, so now you get the feeling of the beat on 4. So for improv, you could just do whatever you want, but the important thing is this first, this second, the feet third, no, the wings, sorry, the wings third, and the feet 4th. That's the most important part. But when I count for you in the rhythm, you don't have to follow 1 for the crown, 2 for the breast, 3 for the wings. You can mix them up. But just do it by how you feel, but follow the beat. Feel the beat in you, and then you can clap as I go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, just go ahead and clap. Clap for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was like the rooster. that becomes really complicated. You can go backwards, you can go forwards, you could go to the feet, you could go from the feet to the crown, to go by speed, or go slower. Maybe the rooster's doing a rumba, and we'll dance like this. Or the cha-cha-cha. So there's a lot of movement involved, and music and rhythm and poetic language and facial expression all included in this storytelling poem. Thank you for being willing to come up here. Beautiful job.
Wow, time is flying by. All right. Briefly, there's a cow, and the rooster's chasing the cow. There's a story that I plan to show you, but it's not fully about the cow. It's really about the rooster. You can see the cow. You can see how he's chewing his cud on the bottom of his jaw. Kind of like she said.
They don't move from the
Yeah, you want to move like the animal. You don't want to move it upside down. You want to kind of keep it in proportion. You don't want to be like an upside down cow. That's not going to make any sense. So that was the cow. Now we're going to have the rooster. And let me tell you about the different parts of this story. So there's a cow. There's a rooster. There's a farmer with a beard. This kind of farmer. That's a farmer. It's a sunny day. He's been out working in the sun all day. He's kind of slow. He's got a couple hundred acres to mow on this tractor. He's going along. He's just looking at the home all day going, gosh, I wish it could be in there. But anyway, this guy's happy, got a happy life, feeling free, and however farmers do. And then there's the house. There's a small house where the rooster lives, and then the big house where the farmer lives. And the rooster's going to play 3 musical instruments. The first one's going to be this, a violin or viola, whichever word you prefer. Use whichever one you want. A viola might be smaller, violin a little bigger, right? Or do I have it backwards? Is the viola smaller? Viola is bigger? Viola is bigger, violin is smaller. Am I right? Somebody? Anybody? Okay, anyway. So there's a viola. Or there's a little violin. All right, so remember that. Thank you for helping me figure out the difference. Anyway, so you have the violin, you're going to have a piano, and then also a Bluetooth or a CD player or something. Farmers tend to have kind of old things, so probably it's a record player or a CD player. Anyway, so the CD music is going to have 3 different songs. The first one's going to be a ballet. The second one's going to be hip hop. And then the last one is, the last one's hip hop. The middle one is going to be tap music. So ballet, tap, and then hip hop. This is a sign for hip hop. I've already told you all the things that are going to be in this story, so just watch for that. Oops, let me back up. I forgot to give you the title. There's a rooster and there's a farmer here. So I'm getting some balance here. Here we go. Well, we're out of time. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you. Hey, if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to get in touch with Dolph, and Dolph could get that information to me if you have any questions, okay? Thank you.